The only reason I came across the couch is because in my free time I like to check out sketchy websites. Anything from foreign play stores to gambling and betting to pirating. Sometimes I like to type random keywords in the search bar, followed by .com, .net, etc. That night I was combing for a good pirating site. One of my go-to favorite ones got shut down, and all the new ones I got so far were either defunct, riddled with obnoxious ads and pop-ups, or just took me to a totally different and unrelated URL. It took an hour of non-stop clicking and scrolling until I found a good one. On the, no joke, 50th Google page, I came upon a site called allyourfreemoviesrighthererightnow.com. Although the website sucked in terms of naming, it was a hell of a lot better than the other ones I combed through. Really, I was just happy to find one that wasn't in Russian or Arabic or the 500th ad that told me that Brazzers and Jerkmate are free. They have pretty much every film you can think of. And not just from major American studios, but ones from all over the world. A lot of banned and fucked up films were there too. I chuckled a little when I saw a Serbian film, Schoolgirls in Chains, Pink Flamingos, and Cannibal Holocaust on there. Out of curiosity, I clicked on the new category. The page redirected me to the most recent films added. I had never heard of any of them, but I decided to skim through. Maybe I'd find something I liked. Eventually, on the fourth page, I came across The Couch. It was 55 minutes long, was released in 2004 from the United States, but had no description or cast and crew list. The cover was of 6 cartoony animals sitting on a couch. A cat, a rat, a goat, a horse, a rooster, and a bull. A speech bubble came from the cat, who was saying, "Action." In playful and colorful letters above them, it said The Couch. Honestly, it looked innocent enough. Definitely some kind of weird indie kids film and was most certainly lost media at this point. I just so happened to be really into stuff like that and wanted to see what this was. When I went to download it, though, I began having second thoughts. When pirating, you have to find sites you trust. And I won't say that I trusted allyourfreemoviesrighthererightnow.com. The Couch could have been literally anything. I like to say that I'm desensitized, but there's always stuff out there that will breach what you thought was your jaded mind. Then again, as I said, this site looked much better than the dozens of other pirating sites I visited. No annoying pop-ups, no flashing colors, no fake URLs, no bullshit. Just movies and nothing more. As stupid as this decision was, I downloaded it. The video file was called thecouch.movie. It took about 10 minutes to download. So far so good. When it was done, I clicked open, and it began to play. The first thing that came up was the title, The Couch, in that playful and colorful lettering. Happy music was in the background and sounds of children's laughter accompanied it. After the title came text that said, "A film by Cat Cat, Rowdy Rat, Gloria Goat, Who Horse, Rage Roos, and Big Bull." I laughed a little, calming myself down a bit and sitting back in my chair. What the hell was this? When the opening credits, if you can call them that, ended, it faded to black. There was an establishing shot of what appeared to be a big, nondescript building in the middle of a city. Immediately I was confused. I thought this was going to be animated. People walked by, cars drove past. I could even hear a police siren in the distance. What was odd was that the people walking by were looking at the person filming with very confused looks. The shot just lingered on this one gray, dull building for a while, before the person filming began walking forward, into the street, towards it. I could hear cars coming to a screeching halt, and someone say,
"What the fuck are you doing? Get out of the road!"
Eventually, the person filming got to the other side. I heard heavy breathing and grunting as I walked down some stairs. At the bottom, there was a door. Painted in black above it were the words, "The Couch," and an arrow pointing to the door. The person reached out to knock on it, and that's when my smile had completely faded. It wasn't a human arm that reached out and knocked. Rather, it was a large wing, obviously part of a costume. Briefly, the camera panned down and I saw huge rooster feet. They banged on the door hard. I heard a click, and it slowly inched open, and it faded to black again. God damn it, I knew this was something bad. Well, bad isn't the right word. Yet. Just strange. I thought about closing out of it, but the morbid curiosity in me took over. I like weird shit, but exactly how weird was this going to get? The film came back on. Someone who I assume was Rage Roos was up close, setting up the camera in a dark room. They stepped back and I could see them in full. The rooster costume was yellow, but was old and worn out, so it was more of a pus color. It was covered in brown and green stains, had big bulging eyes that were popping out of their sockets, and as stated before, had giant feet. They cocked their head, then started clapping and jumping up and down. Clearly edited in, rooster noises played. Rage Roos turned around and ran off into the darkness. An overhead light turned on, revealing a gross and decrepit room littered with trash and caked in mold. 6 figures sat on an old torn couch in the middle. The first was Cat, someone in a gray and white cat costume. They were fat, with a bulging gut and sinking into their own chin. The second was Rowdy Rat, actually sitting behind everyone else on the top of the couch. That was because it wasn't a person in a costume. It was a brown puppet. There was clearly an arm puppeteering it from behind the couch. It looked like if you took Rizzo from the Muppets and made him addicted to meth. The third was Gloria Goat. They were someone in a black goat costume, with an oddly placed pink bow tie on the mask and wearing an off-pink dress that did not go past their waist. It was also most certainly not a female playing Gloria. The fourth, Who Horse, was this tall and gangly person in a horse mask with hooves for hands and feet. We know about Rage Roos. Lastly, Big Bull was this huge muscular person in a bull mask and wearing nothing but a Speedo. I got the chills when I saw them. They looked extremely creepy. I didn't like their vibes. Cat began to talk towards the camera, which was just deep meowing. There weren't even subtitles, so I didn't even know what they were saying, but the other 5 cackled hysterically and clapped in response. The scene shifted to a steel door embedded into the wall. It burst open, and another character in a bear costume began dragging in someone else. At first I couldn't tell who it was or what they were, until I realized that it was a little girl dressed like a dog. The bear slammed the door shut, leaving her alone with the other 6. Immediately she began to cry and bang on the door, desperate to escape. Cat screamed me out at her, but she didn't budge. The little dog girl slammed and pounded at the door, and when Cat rose from the couch, she screamed hysterically and slunk downwards. Cat grabbed her. The little dog girl tried to fight them off, but Cat was too strong. She was thrown onto the spot where Cat was sitting. Then, she cried and wailed in terror as Cat sat directly on her. I told you Cat was fat, but I mean really fat. I heard a crunch or two, and the little dog girl wheezing until she failed to make any more noise. Rowdy Rat, Gloria Goat, Rage Roos, Who Horse, and Big Bull were laughing these demented evil laughs. I paused the film. What the fuck just happened? I couldn't even process it. No, it wasn't gore in the traditional sense, I suppose. That's why it was so bewildering. I don't know. Don't ask me why I continued watching. Any normal person would have just stopped, but I don't have the honor of calling myself normal. I felt like I had to keep watching for some reason. Cat screamed me out, and the steel door flung open again. This time it was a man wearing a walrus costume. He flopped into the room like someone doing the worm. Immediately the big, blubbery walrus man began to flounder around while making walrus noises, clapping his makeshift flippers. While he was doing his routine, the little dog girl began to cry out from under Cat, who hopped off the couch, then slammed back down onto it. I heard a few more cracks. Once the walrus man saw that, he stopped and stared at Cat. I heard him breathing heavily, which then turned into a primal, livid fury as the walrus man got up off the floor and began charging towards the six. About 5 feet away from them, he slammed into something and fell backwards. It appeared as though he slammed into an indestructible glass. I don't blame him for not seeing it. His eyes were probably red and crusty, and I imagine he was at least partially blind. I just truly hope that wasn't his daughter. At Cat's command, the door swung open again. The bear dragged the walrus man out, who had some sort of brain damage and his face was like a crushed watermelon. One of his tusks fell out. A few minutes later, the bear came back in with a crying, dirty woman dressed like a cat. Immediately, Cat rose to its feet and began rushing towards the glass, licking and rubbing it. The other 5 got up from the couch, Rage Roos grabbing the camera. The little dog girl was blue and dead. The bear was about to leave until it was commanded to stay. Cat made a gesture towards the bear, who grabbed hold of the woman and opened the door to the right. A few moments later, they emerged in the other room. Cat ripped the woman from the bear and... I don't even know what they were doing to her. She was on the floor, Cat covering her entirely. It looked like Cat was licking her face very disgustingly. The few times they popped up, I could see the woman drenched in mucousy slobber. Absolutely drenched. She was screaming and crying until Cat forced her up. They cupped her mouth with their hand and began dragging her back the way her and the bear came. The last thing I saw of the couch was a series of awful fucking images. The first was the Catwoman in a dirty, tattered wedding dress. She looked terrified and her eyes wide. Cat was beside her in a black suit, tie, and top hat. A caption under them read, "Just married." The second was the Catwoman on a filthy mattress. Cat was on top of her, licking her again and covering her in that gross, viscous slobber. I saw Rage Roos's big feet in the corner and Rowdy Rat looking like it was laughing maniacally. The caption read, "Honeymoon." The third and last was the worst. On that same dirty, bug-ridden mattress, the Catwoman lay limp. She looked extremely pale and her eyes were glazed over. And then I looked down towards her legs and saw 5 twisted, contorted human cat babies. Looking a little closer, I saw that they were just little stuffed animals and child dolls sewn together. I was so glad they weren't real somehow. Okay, bear with me on this part, okay? Squinting a little, I saw each human cat stuffed animal doll had strings wrapped around them, and they all led inside their mother. Each string was covered in blood and sinew. I thought about it for a moment, and once the realization dawned on me, I wanted to puke. Please, for the love of God, tell me that they didn't shove those human cat stuffed animal dolls inside her, then rip them back out so that she could give birth. The caption said, "Children." Immediately I got up, rushed into my bathroom, and puked into the toilet. What the fuck? I truly didn't want to go back to the film. Slowly I inched out of the bathroom, hoping that it was done. Thankfully, it was just a black screen. Immediately, I rushed over to remove the video off my computer. I haven't touched it since. Fuck that shit. I know, it's just a weird as hell snuff/shock film. But what am I supposed to gain from it? What does that even mean? What's the plot? Was it auditions to be part of the couch? Did the woman become a part of the animal's little gang of freaks? I don't fucking know. I really want to believe that it wasn't real, that woman and who I assume was her husband and daughter were okay. You never know for sure though, and that's the worst part. I was pretty deep in Google search results trying to pirate. Seriously, you never know what you're truly downloading. For all I know, any of those movies and all your free movies right here, right now.com weren't actually those movies. Just discussing con films and parodies made to look like the real thing. What does stuff like that have in common? They are always made by the most depraved and degenerate of us.